Hey, what's up guys and girls? Welcome back to Core Gaming. My name is Smirk. So my plan here is to cover as much information in detail and as many stories as possible in order to give people a bit of a clearer picture of where we're currently at with blockchain gaming and where we could potentially be heading in the not too distant future. If you enjoy the content we create, check us out on Twitter. Remember to like, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. If you want to support the channel, head on over to Patreon and keep an eye out for our up and coming merch. So today's article is actually about an up-and-coming blockchain MMO RPG called Ember Sword, and this article comes from egamers.io. I knew it was a matter of time until we would see the first blockchain gaming-based MMO RPG. For the first part of my life, I've been addicted to MMO RPG games, so this one is a touching one. And I feel the same. I've been playing MMOs for a long time, and I think that that's going to be one of the main driving forces behind this adoption, is the fact that people who are familiar with these types of systems and mechanics within games, they're just going to be able to seamlessly transition to blockchain gaming and understand the fundamental concepts behind it. So Ember Sword is a free-to-play fantasy MMORPG taking place in an open world, partly owned and maintained by the players. By utilizing blockchain gaming technology, Ember Sword hopes to redefine the MMORPG industry where, as of today, most players are locked to predefined experiences called theme parks, okay? Is that what we're calling them? Okay. And cash shops that give pay-to-win advantages in-game and where the players pay developers to own a license for an item, not the actual item itself. So yeah, you don't actually own the digital items that you possess in-game, and I think that's one of the main bridges we need to cross in blockchain gaming first, is people need to understand that fact that anything you have in-game is not truly possessed by you. You do not own it. And that's one of the things that blockchain is really going to fundamentally change. Hopefully. The game will be accessible through the browser or its desktop client. We expect an early version of the game to be released within 2019, so it's up and coming, but it's still a fascinating look at what could potentially happen within the industry. And that's really what I want to do, is help bring awareness to the fact that these changes could take place. So players will enjoy a decentralized cosmetic and land economy with unlimited in-game possibilities to earn and spend pixel tokens, which are ERC20 tokens. They're based on the Ethereum blockchain. I could talk about that, but that's another story in itself. Pixel tokens have a limited initial supply of 750 million tokens, so the private pre-sale is underway right now. I would, be careful when you go looking into this type of stuff, when you're willing to fork over cash for pre-sales of tokens and stuff, because it's like an ICO. It's the same thing. It's putting your trust and faith that a company is going to deliver before they actually, deliver. So just be wary. So some of the gameplay. In Ember Sword, after creating a character and choosing a starting home region, the real journey begins as you collect in-game resources, craft gear, equipment, potions, and take on monsters and other players to gain experience points and level up your character using any weapon you like. I know that doesn't really say much, but each thing I believe is going to have some form of implemented blockchain tokenization around that, and it's going to be interesting to see these companies bring all of these fundamental blockchain concepts into play with the in-game economy, with tokenizing the in-game cash itself, tokenizing items in-game, tokenizing the entire economic system itself. There's so many fundamental in-game concepts that are on the horizon that once people start to understand how they could be implemented, I see it now, blockchain gaming is just going to blow up. So Ember Sword features guilds, territory wars, castles, and so many more features that makes this particular game interesting. Whether you like PvE or PvP, you have plenty of options in Ember Sword. With a classless combat system, you can switch between weapons and abilities at any time, which in theory gives an advantage to skilled players. If you're a PvE player, monsters and bosses will drop loot and help you advance in the game. I know you look at that and go, so what? That's what you do in every game, right? But it's the fundamental ideas behind this. It's the tokenization and the ownership. The maximum level of any skill in the game is 100, and as you progress, new abilities and skills will be unlocked. This does not apply to level up your character, but also in gathering resources, crafting, and equipping items. It's also worth mentioning that the game uses a shard server system, okay, which means you won't have to choose a server to play in. Everyone joins the same world without overloading problems. Awesome, right? Yeah, so if they can pull that off, that'll be incredible. And that's always what MMORPGs have been to me, is large worlds, everybody's interacting at once, there's an entire universe there. That's why I have a feeling MMOs are going to be the pathway into the mass adoption of blockchain. Once these concepts are implemented, that's when people are going to start getting on board. The MMO mentality, it's a niche genre within gaming itself, but it has a powerful audience. You can't deny the success of World of Warcraft, it's as simple as that. Even though it carved a space in the industry itself where it was separate from the mainstream industry, but it still had a massive player base space. So any MMORPG player knows very well that the maps in this kind of game are huge. And so when you mix blockchain with in-game acres, okay, interesting opportunities arise. In Ember Sword, gamers can purchase digital items, land, and create experiences other players can interact with, such as a cosmetic marketplace and shop where players can purchase non-pay-to-win services, with landowners earning a pixel free on every sale. Players who don't find the idea of being a self-employed merchant attractive can rent their land to other merchants for a monthly fee or just sell the entire parcel of land. Landowners can also evolve the world by placing resources, NPCs, monsters that help populate the Ember Sword universe and keep it ever-changing and interesting for other players. The Ember Sword land auction is scheduled for Q2 2019. Everybody who owns pixel tokens will be able to participate in the auction. Afterward, the 1,344 parcels of land can only be bought from other players. Okay, that's a lot to unpack. So yes, there's a few games in play now, Crypto Rome, a few others like that, where you purchase land and you can do a lot of stuff with that land. That's just one avenue in the blockchain gaming space. So yeah, League of Legends, the most popular MOBA game, earned in 2017 $2.1 billion by selling cosmetic items. You get the point. Gamers in Ember Sword will be able to freely trade cosmetic items like buildings, skins, emotes, capes, and so many more assets on the blockchain without any third-party involvement. Yes, like the self-regulating in-game economies are probably one of the most fascinating aspects of blockchain gaming and MMOs themselves. That's why I think there's going to be a seamless transition here, because people already understand the concept of digital trading, of trading items in-game to earn a profit. But at the same time, this can be implemented in the real world. So all items, the ERC 721 tokens, come with a limited supply, making them unique and rare. So that's what gives them intrinsic value. The cosmetic items available each month can be obtained as rewards through in-game territory in guild wars and boss fights, and are afterward traded between players themselves. So yeah, that's another avenue as well. This is just a pure demonstration of people starting to think outside of the box when it comes to these kinds of ideas. And yeah, it's also combating the predatory practices against consumers, and that's what I like as well, is that this will be a consumer-driven movement. It needs to be in order for it to be successful. People participating in a community where everybody's benefiting, as opposed to a few publishers who will remain unnamed, who benefit the most out of this stuff, and they just milk people for profit, and at the end of the day, people get no retained value besides the physical disc that you get when you purchase your copy of the game, and you know, they're trying to take away that too. I'll just read this little excerpt here, it's quite interesting. Ember Sword Online to end predatory loot box monetization using the blockchain in free-to-play MMORPG. So Couch Studios revealed their up-and-coming free-to-play massively multiplayer online role-playing game, Ember Sword, promising to redefine the MMORPG genre's negative pay-to-win reputation by removing the traditional cash shop. Ember Sword lets players own, control, and evolve the fantasy universe as landowners and acquire scarce cosmetics through the player versus player and player versus environment activity. So yeah, just drilling that point home even more. Region trading is something we haven't seen before in any MMORPG. Every region in Ember Sword has a unique resource, which creates the need for trading resources between regions. But there's a problem. Limited inventory and lack of central cross-region marketplace force players to find efficient ways to trade, and that's why caravans exist. So yeah, you'll see that there's a demand for this type of stuff, where players want to trade this stuff and they want to buy this stuff, and there's no marketplace that exists to accommodate that. Therefore, black markets prop up out of nowhere. That's always been the way of digital item trading. Look at Counter-Strike, look at anything like that. Mt. Gox, look how Bitcoin even came to be, really because of a lot to do with Mt. Gox, and that was a Magic the Gathering trading card site where people gathered to buy and sell trading cards. So artists and hobbyists can earn pixel tokens in Ember Sword by designing their own assets. So Couch Studios empowers and motivates creative players to create in-game cosmetic items like emotes, skins, and textures, some of which will be introduced into the game as non-fungible cosmetics, with the artist earning a pixel token for free on every time the item is traded between players in perpetuity. So 100 years in the future, you're going to be earning royalties for creating that digital item, purely for investing your time and energy into creating this non-fungible asset that will perpetually exist in the future. That's just an incredible avenue for artists to take advantage of. This method probably sounds familiar to you. Blockbuster games like CSGO and Rust have successfully completed millions of sales through the community-powered workshops. But in this case, artists earn a revenue in perpetuity, not just from selling the items once. So behind the scenes, let's have a look at who Couch Studios are themselves. The company responsible for bringing Ember Sword to your PCs consists of skilled game developers and designers with years of experience in every field from development to design, marketing, and business development. They're an international team from Denmark, USA, and the Netherlands. Cool. Great little joint venture there. Love it. Mark Lorison is the founder and CEO. Copycat Studios. 11 people are working for Ember Sword, and we expect this number to grow as the company progresses to the development of the game. So yeah, a lot of these companies are forming, a lot of stuff is happening within this industry, and it's so fascinating to see. Eventually, like the ICO industry, there's going to be certain leaders that rise to the top. Whoever's got the best product is going to win the day. So yeah, Ember Sword is undergoing a token sale, so if you want to make an early investment in the game, it's there, but you know, be very cautious with this kind of stuff. All kinds of risks are involved in it, and it's a very early market, and it's very touch and go right now. Just keep in mind that it does not come 100% risk-free. So, need more on Ember Sword Online? Check out their white paper, their game pitch, and their personal business pitch on their website. So as usual, I'm going to try and make this a regular thing. At least with this sort of format, it's going to help keep the content flowing while I focus on creating the more polished type of content, explaining in detail some more stuff. But at least this keeps the conversation going for now. Drop a comment, let us know what you're playing, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. If you want to support us, head on over to Patreon and keep an eye out for our up and coming merch. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.